Hi, I hope you guys are having a great Monday. It is Monday, August 6th, and I wanted to come on really quickly to talk about this is a time of year where a lot of people are moving. You may be newly single, and maybe you've been single for a while, and it's been a minute since you've moved, and you're a little bit rusty. And you're like, oh, what are some good things to look for when you're looking into moving companies, or also when you're looking into maybe renting a new apartment or renting a home? We're not talking about buying a home. That's a totally different ball of wax that is too much for this particular video. But we're talking about renters and people who are on the move. It's August, and a lot of people may be trying to get into a new place before school starts if you have kiddos. So here are some tips and tricks to look for. Let's start off with talking about moving companies, okay? What are some good things to look for moving companies? I would probably say the number one best practice for a moving company is if they offer the service when they actually have someone come out, take a look at all the things that you need to pack up, and then give you an estimate based on that. That is really probably the best way to get the most accurate estimate that you possibly can, so there's little to no surprises when the moving day comes and you're really ready to get out of there. You don't want any hiccups or anything interrupting anything that you need to do that day, because that could cost you money, extra money, and you don't want to do that. So absolutely look for a moving company that has that. Also look for a company who may be registered with a Better Business Bureau, or even with their local Chamber of Commerce, whatever city that they're located in. That's also another good resource. Chamber of Commerce, Better Business Bureau. Also, they may also be on Angie's List, so you may want to look to see the reviews there. Also, you may want to also see if just Google them and see if they have a whole bunch of people who are on their or saying not so great things about them. You may want to rethink moving forward with that particular company. Also, just call them and see how they are on the phone. See how easy they are to work with. How easy it is to speak to their support staff, and that'll tell you a whole lot. If you have people who answer the phone who are pleasant, who try to be as helpful as possible, who will give you the right information, or if they don't know the information right off the top of their head, they know who to ask. All of those things will help you, give you a better level of comfort moving forward with that particular company, and to know that they are experienced. And also ask them, how long they've been in business. Also find out if they are insured. Make sure that they are insured, okay? You want to make sure that they have guys who are licensed and bonded and who are insured. You may want to shy away from, the folks who have just, opened up, and may not have experience that you may need, okay? So also just make sure that, all the things that you need to do to lock in a date, if you need to give them a deposit or whatever things you need to do. I've seen too many people who thought that they locked in a date, and moving day came and the moving company's like, well, we don't have you on our schedule. And you're like, what? So make sure that you know all the things that you need to do to lock in that moving date. Know that it's secure, that it's confirmed, okay? Make sure. Again, you don't want any hiccups. You don't want to have to go into emergency mode trying to figure out what to do on moving day. That's the last thing that you want to do. And anything involving emergency almost always costs you a lot more money. You don't want to do that either. You don't want any financial surprises when you're trying to move into a new place, right? So those are some of the great things to look for as far as a moving company is concerned. Okay, as far as looking for apartments, what are some tips and tricks to look for? Okay, apartments. You want to make sure, when I first moved here, I was looking into an apartment, and she was trying to tell me what the new rent would be if I renewed my lease, and the formula was so complicated, and there were some other things on that lease that I didn't understand, and I really didn't feel like she was really able to explain it to me well. And so if it's things that you don't understand in the lease, things that you don't understand as far as money aspect is concerned, how much it's going to cost you if you renew your lease, you may want to think twice about renting with that place, because a lot of times, if they have a system that's so complicated that a lot of times bleeds into other areas. So if you have something come up with your apartment, you need a repair or something like that, if they have a system that's so complicated it's going to take days and days and days more than it should, then you really want to make sure that you're dealing with folks who have things down pretty much to a science, okay, and are easy to deal with. Another thing is call them up a couple of times, during the week, different days during the week. See how they are. See how the support staff is when they answer the phone. Ask them about their, policies and procedures, and see how friendly they are, and see how helpful they want to be. That's also gives you, a good indication whether that's someplace you want to live, because you're going to be dealing with those folks again. If something goes wrong with your apartment, there's a leak, there's something else that comes up that needs a repair, the toilet's not flushing, whatever it is, you want to make sure if there's any repairs that come up, you're dealing with folks who are going to be as helpful as possible, because the last thing you need trying to get through your day-to-day, whether you have kiddos or a job that's really high stress, or you work long hours and you have a long commute. The last thing you want is delay after delay after delay. When you try to get home, it's a place where you try to relax and decompress. You don't want days and days of delay dealing with crap that are just going to send you into orbit. Okay. So absolutely do that. Sometimes too, go into their office if you have a Saturday or some time that you have. Go into their office and see how they are. Sit there for a little while and see how they are, see how they interact with people who rent there already. One other important thing that I think is tells you a whole lot also, if you kind of hang around the office and kind of looking around and seeing, starting to take in the idea, the atmosphere there, talk to some of the people who actually live there. Not just one, because sometimes you may just pick that one person who never is satisfied with anything anyway. But talk to a few people, ask them how they like living there, how long they've lived there. When repairs came up, was it a whole big problem? Was it an act of Congress to get stuff done? Absolutely think about all of those things that are so important to look into when you're looking at a new apartment, right? And so that will also give you a wealth of information about whether you want to live there or not. So it's not just all about just location. You want to know the people that you're dealing with in your living environment. And so also ask them how their neighbors are too. Do they have people who are really loud and play the music 3 o'clock in the morning? You want to know all that stuff. So it's so important, even if you're a little bit shy, muster up the courage to talk to people who live there. And that will you be like, I did that once, and I was like, oh my God, I dodged a huge bullet, because if I would have moved into this place, I know I would have been unhappy. One other thing, as far as apartments or even renting a house, if you live in a really hot environment, a warm environment like Texas, one big mistake that I made too was I didn't realize I was renting an apartment that faced west. And oh my goodness, in the summertime, you couldn't cool that apartment off for nothing. I mean, you could start off with, the air conditioning down as far as it'll go, 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm telling you, by 2 o'clock in the afternoon, your place is still blazing because it's faced west, and you can try to cover those windows all you want. It's hot as hell. So that's another thing about location, about how your apartment is positioned. You don't want to be facing west, where you have the sun beating down on those windows and heating up your place. Okay. Same thing if you're renting a house. You want to know, where's the back of the house or the kitchen. If you barbecue out a lot, if you like to do that, or if you like to enjoy your backyard, you don't want it facing west. You don't want to. don't do what I did. And so you want to make sure that you think about those things. You probably want something that faces north or east. Ooh, sorry. Something roaming around back there. Sorry. Anyway, so you want to make sure that you're very conscious of where your property sits, so that way you can get the most enjoyment out of it. All right. So those are really the best practices if you're looking for a new apartment, and if you're dealing with a moving company. Those are really the things to look forward to. Oh, one more thing. If you're looking to rent a house, if you're renting directly from the owner, and if it's an older property, you want to make sure that they are used to renting their property, because obviously older properties will have more maintenance issues, and you don't want somebody who's stumbling and taking 5 days to figure out who their plumber is going to be, or who their handyman is going to be. You probably want someone who is more experienced, who is used to doing those types of things. So look into that. Or sometimes some people just have a management company who takes care of all of that for their home rental properties, which is great. If so, again, do some research on that rental property management company. Make sure that they don't have a whole bunch of complaints against, when you Google them or when you go on a Better Business Bureau, all those different things, okay? So I hope that you find that helpful. So I will see you again in the next video. So I coach on these types of things. So if you want more information, you can go to my website, moveonafterdivorce.com. Also, you click on the one-on-one button, so it's real easy to sign up to work with me. So anyway, you can also go to my website. I have articles on there that you'll also find helpful for single folks. So I hope you find this helpful. Again, I will see you at the next video. Take care. Uh-oh. Stop the video. Sorry, I'm trying to sign off. Oh, shoot. No, I didn't. Dang it. Okay, there we go.